everybody. Welcome to the Monster of the Week podcast starring the team of S.P.O.O.K.I, the Special Police Office of Occult Crime Investigations.
Mm.
S.P.O.O.K.I. I know,
Cool, so we're done with
fantastic,
that.
isn't it? Isn't that great? I know, it's lovely. I absolutely love it. So I am Mike, and I'll be the keeper for this, which is like a DM or a GM for the most part. And we also have our players, if you would, one by one. We'll go ahead and start with Jessica, work our way down. Jessica, then Brian, and then Sam. Just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your character, a little bit of background,
It's
character
okay,
name.
I like being on the bottom.
You
And-
can go first.
And I'm the
Go,
creepy
go.
one. Okay.
Hey!
This is just in alphabetical order. All right, that's all it was.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, Jessica, go.
Okay, somebody go.
Hi, my name's Brian.
Oh god, you're so
Uh,
loud. You
I'm a
didn't warn me.
Cancer. I really enjoy long walks on the beach. Well, I just take that back. Short walks on the beach.
Bitch, you don't walk.
I am a demon. And yeah. Who's behind door number 2?
Great intro. Love it. Totally know so much about the character now. Next.
Well, I feel like that was some shade.
Okay, it's between you two. One of y'all has to go. Come on.
You
Don't be
said she
shy.
was first. I said I was gonna be on the bottom.
Okay. Well, I'm Jessica, and I'm playing the expert, and I don't have. Well, I have a really fucking awesome haven. That's what's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, should be. Definitely should be. So, just a little bit of background. So the monstrous is, we'll read the character description as it has here. Half human, half monster. The literal, and I like this, is I feel the hunger, the lust to destroy, but I fight it. I never give in. I'm not human anymore, not really, but I have to protect those who still are. That way I can tell myself I'm different to the other monsters. Sometimes I can even believe it. Like, wow, emo as fuck. So, that's the intro for the
Rawr.
monsters.
Beautiful.
I know, right? The expert says, I have dedicated my life to the study of the unnatural. I know their habits, their weaknesses. I may not be youngest or strongest, but my knowledge makes me the biggest threat. So that is the expert's description. And then we have Sam.
Hi. Okay, so I'm the crooked. I'm a tiny Asian boy. Can't decide exactly how old I want to be. I'm probably gonna make it like 16. But I was fostered, so like the only thing I know about Japanese culture is from J-pop and Oran High School Host Club.
That should work out well.
No idea how happy that makes
Oh,
me.
wait. Guess my name though. Because it's Tamaki.
Of course it is. Okay, I will. You know what? I need to write that down here because I will instantly forget that that's it. Okay.
To be fair, I will too.
Well, if you have your sheet in front of you like you're supposed to.
Okay, I don't know where it is, but I
Oh
have
my
it
God.
open. I have it open on my computer.
Okay, that'll work too. All right, so we're supposed to have one more person, but he is probably hungover, I'm assuming, and passed out somewhere. So we'll have a mysterious fourth person who may or may not join us ever. I guess we'll find out as we get going. Okay, so
I mean, hopefully he's at home.
I mean, I would hope so, but you never know. So, Monster of the Week
Yeah,
is very
sure.
much role playing like an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Supernatural. You guys are members of, as before mentioned, S.P.O.O.K.I, the Special Police Office of Occult Crime Investigations. I keep almost forgetting that. So, it's kind of part of a shadowy world organization thing that's meant to keep ghosts and demons and things like that, supernatural things under control and protect the general populace. As such, you have very deep pockets with this organization behind you, which leads us to the group headquarters. But before we get to that, now that I think about it, we need to do the intro. So this is where we would put in the theme music, and we'd have the really great montage with lots of cool action shit.
Also, you're not live on Twitch. Is that a thing?
I'm not actually. I decided
Okay.
not to go live just because we were running so late behind,
Fair enough.
and I'll just cut it up later. So maybe next time we'll see.
I'm gonna blame Brian.
I'm blaming Joe.
Me too.
100,000%
Oh,
blaming Joe.
it's totally my fault, but it's okay.
So, in the spirit of it being an episode of Supernatural or Buffy, that sort of thing, basically we're going to describe the opening scene. You always get that opening scene. So, the scene fades open, and there is a wooded area and a couple of younger-looking guys, probably teenagers, and they're like laughing and having a good time. And you clearly see one of them like throw back a fucking PBR tall boy and chug it and toss it off into the woods, and they just keep laughing and stuff. And as they keep going through it, you see at the end of an opening there's a cave, and they kind of keep going, getting closer to the cave, and they're just joking around and being dumb. And when they get to the cave entrance, one of them turns to the other. He's like, "Hey, bro, we should go in." And he's like, "Nah, brah, that's scary." And the other guy's like, "Don't be a pussy." So he goes in anyway. And as the camera he disappears into the mouth of this cave, just into the darkness beyond. You can barely see the light from his cell phone, just kind of fading off into the distance. And then you just hear him scream very loudly, and then we fade out. So that's the opening scene. Hey, that was good. I liked that. I thought that was all right. We fade back
Yeah,
in.
$5 that it's a puma.
That it's a puma?
Yeah.
It's not a puma.
Plot twist.
Yeah, plot twist. We're just park rangers. So we fade back in, and what you see is an old building. It's probably 120 years old, sitting on a busy downtown street, and the outside just says "spooky" on the outside. And as we get in, we see that it is a shop. It's a bookshop with lots of old, dusty books. Some of them are stacked, some of them are on bookshelves, but just everywhere there's books. And these are not like popular novels. There's no Twilight novels here, not a single
Thank
one.
God.
These aren't books; they're tomes. They're just these big, heavy, bound books everywhere. At the desk where there is an old-timey cash register, well, like, we're talking really old-timey, like turn of the century style, just because it's cool. We see that there is somebody who's kind of got this big, huge book opened up and is reading through this massive tome. There is a computer next to the register that's just kind of on, playing. What's your favorite song, Jessica? We'll say it's playing that.
Wow, way to put me on the fucking spot, man.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Hang on. I don't know what my favorite song is.
Well, what would
Too
you
much
be?
pressure.
What do you think you would be listening to at this point, character-wise?
Probably Bishop Braggs.
Ooh, yes, good choice. Yes, very good choice. So we have some nice, almost bluesy soul type music coming through the computer, and you see a notification pop up on the computer, and it is from the Spooky headquarters. There's a link, and when you click on the link, it leads to a story about how somebody went missing in Sauerkraut Cave. And there's a link to a Facebook post of one of the guys. Now, this is going to be the bro who was out there that we saw just kind of chug the PBR and throw it away. His name is Bubba Bubba Brown. We're gonna go with Bubba Brown. And the Facebook post it's a video actually, and you see it's very shaky hand cam of the front of this cave, just a dark opening, and you see the other guy going through, and he's just yelling like, "Steve, come on, Steve, we shouldn't be in here, Steve. What are you doing?" And then you hear the scream, and he's, "Oh shit!" And the really shaky running away camera, and
So it's the Blair
it's
Witch.
done. So yes, it's a very Blair Witch style sort of hand cam footage from what was very clearly a cell phone. and underneath the video it's just this post of, I don't know what happened to Steve. We were just out here and he disappeared. So there you go. That's what we know. That's what we've got to start with.
Nice.
Yeah, so now we get to flesh out the headquarters, I guess. So when you get this incoming alert of work to be done, how does that work?
Well, I guess at that point I would need to find people because I'm just the expert. I don't actually, like, I'm not the gunpowder here. So, um, so
have
are
like
we
walkie-talkies.
walkie-talkies?
Yeah. We all had to.
Just a second.
Okay, so while we're holding on, so my vision of this, and me and Jessica have somewhat agreed on it, is that this is going to be an old Louisville style building, probably tri-level. The bottom is the shop front with all of the books in it, but nobody ever comes in because, like I said, they don't sell Twilight, they don't sell anything like that. She may get 1 or 2 people a year who come in here looking for very specific old books, old collectors' books. Not all of these books are necessarily magical with arcane knowledge. She just loves the books, so it may just be a normal copy of Dante's Inferno that's like 200 years old, right? So collectors do come in. It's that kind of bookshop, very dusty. You can just hit by that musty smell of the books when you walk in the door. Upstairs from there is kind of a living area, and that's where everybody kind of bunkers down. There's different rooms up there for everybody. Everybody kind of has their own room. It can suit about 5 or 6 normal agents of S.P.O.O.K.I, and that's kind of the living quarters. There's a small kitchen up there, small dining area, and you've got the rooms, a little common area. Very much like a large apartment style up there. And up in the very top is an attic, but we don't really go up there very often, so we don't really know what's up there. So that's kind of the image of what that's like. In my head, as far as oh shit, we have a job to do, what I think is there's like these bells, right? So there's these little pull string bells, kind of like in old houses with butlers, where you would pull the string and it would ring a bell and the butler would show up, and it goes to each room. So one's marked, hold on, let's see. Since I don't have, one's marked like Tamaki and Brokath. That's Brian's Brokath. Since they kind of share a living area. And one is marked Joe and one is marked Jessica. Since we don't have specific character names for them, that's their character names now. So
sorry.
Oh, you're cool. Did you catch any of that, by the way?
Parts of it. My husband was talking to me about my child going to spend the night at my mother-in-law's. So.
Gotcha.
Oh, my character's name is Luca, by the way.
Luca. Okay, let me write that down. Okay,
There's
so
a first edition Dante's Inferno that's like $1,000 on eBay.
I'm sure.
Don't be trying to sell my books.
I'm sorry.
So again, what I was saying there at the end is I imagine there's like with the old butler bells in old mansions where you pull the string and it would ring in the butler's quarters. You kind of have that sort of a system set up here because it's a very old building and you like very old things. So there's different bells up there and they have the room names on them for everybody's kind of individual rooms, and you can pull on them and it'll ring in those rooms. There's one for like the common area upstairs, one for like the well, we won't go into where the other one goes to just yet.
Right.
But
I can dig that though.
Yeah.
It's kind of reminds me of like the really old building. Like, does anybody remember the Secret Garden?
Yeah.
No.
Like forever ago, when they're always like ringing the little bells.
Oh yeah, exactly, just like that. Where it's you pull the bell here, and maybe there's a string in there where they can ring to the other rooms as well. That sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, what was your name again?
Tamaki.
Who are you talking to?
Sam's character is Tamaki.
Yeah.
Tamaki-chan.
I was looking at books. I got distracted.
Just so I know.
My room is being invaded.
Yeah, that's how that happens. It's okay. I'm basically yelling, and my wife is on the couch listening to other things. And I'm sure I'm being very interruptive.
Oh, you can leave her in here, but not her. Thanks.
Not that one.
I can deal with the cat, can't deal with the dog. Okay.
Makes sense.
All right. So I guess since we have the links, like one's the actual news article and one's the Facebook post of the guy who actually recorded it, correct? Bubba Brown.
Right.
All right.
Okay, I'm not good at coming up with names. Okay, what do you want from
It's really creative.
Hubba Bubba
It's
chewing gum.
fine. It's totally fine.
I feel like we need to patent that. Bubba Brown chewing gum. I need it.
Habib! Hubba Bubba is chewing gum.
What's Brian's character's name?
Okay.
Brian's character's name is
Brokoff.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brokoff. Apparently,
Cough.
I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. My
How dare you?
Brokaff.
bad.
Sounds like you're saying broke ass.
Hey, better than Bubba
Sorry,
Brown,
King
alright?
of the Broshin.
There it is.
Don't question my name choices, damn it. Wasn't so much
Dr.
a
Broshin.
choice as a panicked decision, but still.
All right. So I am going to, since all my bells are over behind my cash register desk and everything anyway, I'm just gonna turn around and pull the bells for Brokoff and Tamaki.
Cool.
And then I'm just gonna go back to reading my book.
Ring, ring. All right, whatever. What the shit? Okay, so you guys are up, and I'm assuming your room, possibly in the common area, and you know when this bell rings, it's time to get to work.
I'm gonna ignore it for 5 minutes exactly,
What an asshole.
and then turn off my music and go downstairs. I'm a teenager.
She's up there like Tamaki's up there like playing a visual novel, listening to J-pop, doesn't even fucking hear it. Just
Annoying the piss out of me is what she's doing, or he is doing.
yeah. Okay, so we know what Tamaki is doing. What's Brokath going to do about that? Sorry, Brokath.
Well, since I am quite attached to Tamaki, I'm just up there genuinely annoyed by this nonsense because I am a very old immortal demon and this J-pop stuff just makes my brain hurt. But I like Tamaki a lot, so I put up with it. I'm just sitting there like debating ways to just make the pain stop.
So you two are literally just sitting there ignoring the bell that basically says, "Guys, we have a job to do."
I'm going.
Yeah, that's
I-
basically
I-
what I expected to happen.
imagine
So I was like, fuck.
Imagine Tamaki's up there jamming, and I'm just sitting there like just banging my head against the dull side of my sword, just like, oh my god, this music is terrible.
Okay, so if that's happening, then I'm gonna run to wherever the hell he is, throw him an Advil, and then run downstairs.
Okay, what's that interaction look like though? Like walk me through this because I'm just in my head it's just this big giant demon guy who's just sitting there like or standing there with his arms crossed, just like, oh my god.
That's pretty much it. I am generally in the shadow, somewhere behind Tamaki, and I'm just something along the lines of just.
And I'll see how grumpy as fuck he is. Take the Advil from the side of my bed that's always there because he's always annoyed. Throw it at him and say, "Take it, bitch," and then run downstairs. Just so I don't get hit.
Okay, roll for catch. No, I'm kidding. We're not rolling for that. This isn't Dungeons and Dragons. This is way different.
Or even better, it's.
Ow! Oh, this sandwich is hot. Sorry.
Okay, so stopped for a snack along the way. Okay, so we have
That's
Tamaki
probably why
is
it took so long.
that would explain it. Yeah, I was getting a sandwich. What do you want? So you both kind of walk downstairs, and the stairs come out from behind where the counter is with the cash register. There's like maybe a curtain there of some sort, like a black curtain that you can scoop aside to go through. And yeah, so Tamaki clearly gets there first. And
I want to get hit.
we have Brokoth like behind, just plodding down like a big thump, thump, thump down the steps, just tossing back fucking Advil, hoping it'll stop the pain.
Wait, do you turn around when I come downstairs?
No.
Jessica. Okay, well then I'm gonna put a sandwich in your face and be like, hey, you want some?
No. No, I do not.
Take it back. Take it back. To yourself.
I look up and I see the sandwich, and then I just turn the computer to face you.
So yeah, turn the computer to face, and there's just like on repeat this video, like
yes,
Steve,
the guy
come on,
screaming.
Steve. Yeah, it's just a repeat of that 10 seconds of Scream, just over and over. Ah, ah, ah. That's horrible.
So is Brian a full demon?
Technically, he's half demon.
Half demon?
Yes.
Can he be summoned?
Can he be summoned? That.
Yes.
All right. So that actually brings up a very good question. So there is the ability in this game of everybody to use magic, and you can do various things with that magic, such as set up defensive wards and things of that nature.
I was thinking more like along the lines of like summoning circles and rituals type of thing, not necessarily magic per se. But...
Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean that probably could work. That would fall under big magic, however. So that's a little bit different. You can, and when you use magic, you can use it to inflict harm. So you can just do immediate damage to somebody. You can enchant a weapon. You can do one thing that's beyond human limitations. So if you need to lift a car off of your child, kind of thing, you can place a barrier to keep a specific person or type of creature out. You can trap somebody. You can banish a spirit or curse, or place it. You can summon a monster into the world. That's why I'm like, that actually brings it up really well. You can communicate with something that you do not share a language with, observe another place or time, or you can heal one harm. Now, that does come with the danger, of course, as magic oftentimes does. So if you don't roll well enough, that will include a glitch of some sort, which we can get into if we ever get to that point. So to answer your question, can he specifically be summoned? Probably, but that would be more of a big magic kind of thing.
Okay.
In my mind, you probably could use magic to communicate over long distances if need be, possibly to kind of summon, where it's just like an annoying kind of spider sense tingle in the back of his head where he feels very compelled to do something. Maybe something of that nature. But an outright summoning, not going to be easy to do.
Okay.
And I also imagine that my dude looks very similar to Hades from Hercules, because that's what I pictured in my head while creating this guy.
Toga and all, which is weird.
Yeah. And a big fucking sword on my back.
Gotcha. Okay, so no, that's actually a very good point. So as Tamaki comes down, as we're gonna rewind just a little bit, Tamaki comes down the stairs and emerges from this curtain. What does Tamaki look like? What is the description of that clothing style, stuff of that nature? Make it real detailed, and then Brian, when she's done, you can describe how Brokoth is going to look when he comes down, following, rubbing his head from the massive J-pop headache. I'm going to grab a drink and be right back.
A J-pop headache. I don't really know. I mean, I guess in my head he's wearing like, I want him to be like kind of emo, but there's like the emo J-pop stars that are like super behind, so they're still wearing like trip pants and all that. chains and shit. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay, so he's like high school goth.
Yeah, but like real shitty high school guy.
Right. Like I shop at Hot Topic like goth.
Oh, damn, that's insulting. I shop at Hot Topic.
Hang on. What Hot
I do
Topic
too.
used to be, because it's straight shit
Right.
now.
Well, it's just all like fandom based right now. I buy a lot of Studio Ghibli shirts there, which makes me super happy.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish
I mean,
their
their
stuff
hats
was
are on
made
point.
more for women, but other than that, it's cool.
Yeah, all their stuff's tiny.
I mean, obviously can't wear shirts from there because, as she said, they're tiny, but their hats are amazing. So
Even like the
Their
men's
hats
clothing I
are the
wear a
best.
medium in. Sorry, way off topic.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So in my head, what I'm actually picturing, I'm definitely picturing like that J-pop goth look, the visual Quay kind of style, almost Marilyn Manson-y, but with a bigger flair for like glam. there was a very specific
Definitely.
there was a very specific band. I cannot remember. Oh, I just remembered. Despair's Ray is a very specific band that kind of came to mind for me.
Oh
Um,
God, are you serious?
yes, that's
I
like
know who
kind of
you're
what.
talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of what I see in my head, where it's definitely it's like it's this J-pop emo is really what it comes down to these days. But
What's that one?
I mean, do you think that's accurate or?
Yeah, that's accurate.
And I think we're losing Sam.
I don't know, she just keeps getting
Uh,
further and
I
further
think that's
away, fading into
yeah.
the distance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at stuff.
You're
Oh,
fine.
professors.
Yeah.
It's okay. Let's go with that because I can't find the other one I was looking for.
Okay. Well, we can always update that. Just like J-pop styles change day after day. Perhaps Tamaki changes as his new favorite band emerges every day and/or week.
That actually sounds awesome.
Hey,
I like
my head canon for this game is already in depth and amazing in my eyes. Okay, so we've got Tamaki walks out and
Wait, look at that horrible picture.
yeah, exactly. There you go, exactly like that. So so Luca's just like turns the computer monitor to show off, and at that moment you have Brokoff is coming out from behind the curtain as well, and looking like
my
Hades.
my GIF sums it up perfectly. This is what it looks like. I come around the curtain and it's just like, ooh, all right, I'm good.
the Advil is finally kicking in.
What?
Clothing wise, I mean, are you really gonna go with the toga?
Oh, 100%. Like, who
Mm,
doesn't love a fat demon in a toga?
I mean, that's not gonna be weird at all in a modern setting, but okay.
Or practical.
I mean,
yeah.
I have fire
That's
hair.
where I was going.
I'm kind of, I'm hanging out with an. Have you seen my friend here?
So
I think
so
Sam's character actually can draw attention away from the fact that I am a very large demon, half demon.
I'm a
hey,
sexy J-pop star. Back off.
everybody's just like, why is that glamorous J-pop dude like hanging out with a fucking Disney character? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So
I
in
don't
my
get
mind,
it.
it's not. But in my mind, it can't be like literal fire on your head because that would really stand out. But perhaps you've got this hair that just kind of waves and moves on its own and kind of gives the impression like it's fire.
That'll work. That's fine.
Yeah. So
Because otherwise you'll be setting things on fire, and that's not
yeah,
okay because you're not allowed in my bookstore if you're on fucking fire.
fire and old musty
That's
books
okay.
generally do not go together well. That's absolutely correct, in fact. And yeah, while I love the idea of the toga, maybe that's like your true demon form. You pop out and it's fucking Hades. But
Okay.
but
For normal clothing, um, I'm gonna say I try to fit in with my friend here, Tamaki. It just
Yeah.
does not quite work
okay,
because I am large human
no, I got it.
and
I got you. So you're what's happening here is Tamaki is definitely very much the embodiment of that goth J-pop star. You're like a really bad cosplayer trying to
yes,
be that.
like I'm just trying to
Like
Imitate.
the clothes don't quite fit. Like the shirt's just like a little too small, maybe. Yeah, shit like that.
I imagine I'm like the dude on the far right of her picture there.
Wait, which one?
Okay.
Like my jacket's noticeably smaller, so it's like there's no chance in shit it ever buttons.
Fat man in little coat.
Pretty much.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, no, I love that. So it's like where Tamaki went online and specifically bought these handmade, good quality, tailored clothing. You like went to Goodwill and bought
Yep.
as close as you could get.
Yes, because
Gotcha.
I love it.
I just want to be friends with Tamaki. You know, Tamaki.
And first off, I stole this from some guy who was trying to be a poser who doesn't actually like J-pop. I beat the shit out of him and stole it.
She's like at an
I
anime
actually
convention.
bought it online, but I tell everyone I stole it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So that's the story you make up about it. Okay,
Yep.
I dig it. All right, it's very telling. So we have those visuals. So you guys have come downstairs and there's this horrible video playing on the screen. What do you guys want to do about that next?
I'm sorry.
Is
I'm
he
trying to
serious
find.
with his name?
Do what?
That's my first reaction. Is he serious with his name? Is that his real name?
Bubba Brown.
Yeah.
It might be a
I think
stage name because also has a second career as an unsuccessful rapper.
Oh, makes sense.
Give you a little more insight into that, bro.
So
I
it
think I've heard of
sounds
that.
like karma. I don't see the problem here, Luca. What's going on?
people going missing. That's what's wrong.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
Okay,
Come on, man.
so
I'm trying to find a picture. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're like, wait, what does Luca look like? We haven't gone over that. I know.
No, I know exactly what she looks like, and I'm trying to find this stupid picture. And if I can find it, I will send it to you.
In my
Awesome.
head, she looked like Jessica. Like it was.
That's what she was in my head. She's just Jessica sitting there with the big ass book.
Yeah, like
Okay, so
Sam's a little
so,
emo Asian boy.
Jessica.
I'm a huge demon, and you're Jessica. You know, it's totally fine.
okay, so one thing we did not do actually is Luca has an ability, and it is called. Let me grab that real quick. It is called the woman or man with the plan. So what that is, at the beginning of each mystery, so at the beginning of every game, you get to roll your 2d6 and add your sharp modifier, and that will allow you to have certain advantage moving forward in the game. Because you do all of this research, you kind of have general knowledge on a lot of things. So, yeah. So, do you have your 2d6 ready?
Are we using actual die or are we using a die emulator?
I don't have a dice roller on the Discord, so
Uh,
I'm assuming you don't have two actual die ready. Hold on.
not. I can grab some. Hang on just a second.
I have like 6.
One moment.
Mhm. Did you do some more research on the whatever it's called on how we do the video?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So there is a website that actually has a dice roller on it. If we don't want to use it, it's random.org.
I was just say I got the wizards.com D&D. I
Yeah, he just
posted the
put a
link.
link.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. We just need two
Yeah.
dice to roll, so we are good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd prefer to have everybody in one place and rolling actual dice, but
Well, some of us aren't dedicated to our craft. You know, I don't have dice.
it's okay.
I
I
have
understand. I mean, I have my dice somewhere. I don't know where that
Okay.
stuff is
I have
anymore.
a bag of dice on the table. It's usually in a bowl, what we're packing.
Gotcha. All right, so
This is bothering
I
me.
don't like this mod. I don't like this thing that you put on there because it just gave me like a bunch of 3s in a row, and I feel like that's rude. Oh, I just got an 11. Okay, that's cool.
What?
I was using this thing that he put, the link, the
Oh,
dice roll
the
that he put. It kept giving me like shitty numbers, and then I got an 11, so I'm not mad anymore.
I just got a 20. I just got a 23. What's up?
Are we doing that instead of the actual die?
How'd you get a 23?
You can do the
What
actual
I added
die,
my
or you
modifier
can
to
use
it.
a dice roller. Either or is fine. Whatever works best for you.
Okay. You said 2d6?
2d6s. Yep.
I rolled a 5 and a 1.
5 and a 1. So you have a 6 plus your sharp is 2. So when you roll a 7 to 9, you get to hold 1. So what that means is you can spend that hold to be where you need to be, prepared, and ready. So it's up to you to figure out how exactly, like what exactly that means.
So this is kind of the idea of my character here. Hang on a second. I'm sending it in Discord.
Gotcha. Oh, that's cute.
Aw. What's that from?
Actually, my friend tagged me in that. He said he found it and he said, "This picture is like the epitome of how I think of you."
Nice.
He's like,
That works.
found this portrait of you back in the olden days of being a medicine woman and for wounded warriors.
I
So
love it.
So since walking around in that style of clothing probably isn't the best of things, we'll assume you've got like a really nice like messenger type bag, maybe a nice leather one, like a tank top, like maybe a hoodie tied around your waist, that sort of thing. So same
Right.
similar style of
More
look,
modern,
just
though.
more modernized. Gotcha.
Yeah, I definitely have to have the boots though.
Oh yeah, definitely the boots. The boots work no matter what. So
Right.
We should all have matching jackets.
I'll have matching jackets. That's up to you guys. All right, so
It just
since you
says
did roll
spooky
7
on
to
the
9,
back.
you do get to hold that one. Spend it to be where you need to be, prepared and ready. It's kind of up to you to figure out how that works because there's no real specific description of that. So yeah, we'll have fun figuring that one out along the way. That'll be great. Nobody else has anything like that I can see. So we are good to continue moving forward. But what that usually means is just you've done your research. You're going to be prepared based on what happens before. So in my mind, that's should be pretty easy to work in. But
Okay.
all right, so it's just like, hey, this thing happened. I forgot where we were before we kind of took our sidetrack there.
Oh,
Tommy,
we're trying
if
to
you
decide
trying
where
to
to
force
go.
me a sandwich.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was
yeah.
that. Yeah, and then that's right. So we were there because we did the weird time rewind thing. Went back a few moments to get the descriptions down. So Tamaki comes downstairs and offers you the sandwich, and you're like, "Oh God, no, get out of my face!" And so then Brokoth comes out, and what was it that you had said, Brian, about the video, basically?
This Bubba Brown is, a try-hard rapper. I don't really see the what the big deal is that he's gone now. In which he explained to me that people just can't go missing. That's not okay.
And also, it wasn't Bubba Brown that went missing. Bubba Brown is the
It
one
was-
who posted the video. He was
was
calling
Steve.
out to Steve in the video.
Okay, sorry. Well, Steve is a friend of Bubba Brown's, which makes him equally as scummy. And I was just like, okay, big deal. And she explained to me that people just can't go missing. That's not okay.
And there
And
could be
I'm
money
okay.
in it.
I'm okay. Okay. Fine. That's not okay. I will agree with you.
All right,
And
so go ahead
like
and so how do you want to deal with this at this point in time, though? Like, what do you want to do to move forward? So we know that Steve went missing. The video was also tagged with Sauerkraut Cave. So you know where this actually occurred as well.
Did you just say Sauerkraut Cave?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an actual place, by the way.
That's
Oh,
terrifying.
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You can Google it. It's an actual place. Which I'm assuming is what Luca's probably going to do. Just go ahead and do a quick Google search, that sort of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
So this is where you're going to roll to investigate a mystery. That's what we're going to be doing
Okay.
now. And that's basically anytime you are looking into something, if you're out and it's like, oh, we're at the crime scene, we want to kind of get an idea of what happened here. You'll roll to investigate a mystery. This is research, but it's not anything that you specifically know about. So it will be investigating a mystery. It's those first steps of what the fuck is going on and how do we get it fixed. So again, always roll those 2d6s while I flip through and find where the hell is that in the book. Okay. So you're going to roll your 2d6 and then add your sharp modifier to it.
So it's a 9 total, but I get a +1 for having the library too.
Oh, so it's 10? Did you already add your sharp to it?
4, 7, 8, 9. So no, it's 10 total if I include the sharp and the library.
Okay, so
Because it
10.
says that you take +1 forward to investigate the mystery.
Gotcha. Fantastic. I didn't even see that. Thank you for being prepared and having your sheet.
You're
Much
welcome.
appreciated. So that gives you a 10. On a 10 plus, you get to hold 2. The hold can be spent to ask the keeper one of the following questions. What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can it hurt? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed? Since you're doing a Google search and not really on site, I think that kind of limits the options a little bit. So I would say, what sort of creature is it? You really have no way to know that. There's no indication really. What can it do? No idea. What can hurt it? You don't even know what it is. Where did it go?
I mean, do I have to use that 2 right now, or can I
No.
wait until we actually go out into the field?
No, you can hold it. You can even
Okay.
hold it. But since you did roll successfully, I'll say you were able to find in your Google search some articles about Sauerkraut Cave. What you learned is Sauerkraut Cave is actually at a public park. Very specifically, it is Tom Sawyer Park. It's now a state park, but it used to be the site of the Lakeland Sanitarium, which was a mental hospital built, I'd say, roughly 100 years ago. It closed down in about the 70s, and the whole thing was destroyed and demolished in the 90s. The time is current day, by the way, so just so we have a time reference. So it's been destroyed for about 20 years, but you've seen that it has been reported as a haunted place for a very long time. For people hear noises, they sometimes see things, very specifically around the Sauerkraut Cave area, because Sauerkraut Cave is not actually a cave. What it is an old access way to the basement of the Lakeland Sanitarium, where they used to bring in the shipments of food and supplies and things, and take actually take dead bodies out as well. So it was kind of the entrance point for all of their supply routes.
So this is random, but when I was little, I thought that sanitarium was like a huge place where you use the bathroom.
No, that's a vomitorium. Actually, that's not what that is either. But still.
But they had like different rooms with like different toilets and everything. Like it was a whole elaborate thing.
Well, I mean, technically they probably did, just not for that sole purpose.
Yeah, makes more sense.
So there you go. You've done your Google search. You've got your information. How do you want to proceed?
Well, obviously, being on site is the best idea. No agreements, no arguments, nothing.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Do we have a vehicle?
So what I would say at this point is definitely, I would say in character, how would Luca present this information?
Oh, they're not hovering over my shoulders. I expected them to be.
So it
Oh, I'm
sounds
definitely hovering over your
like
shoulder.
Tamaki's probably there, just like very annoyingly, like smacking lips and eating a sandwich in your ear. And I imagine Brokath has probably already kind of dismissed it as who cares because these are garbage people. But it also sounds like Brokath probably thinks everybody is garbage people. So
Except for Tamaki.
I'm wonderful.
For some odd reason.
Because I'm wonderful. I just said that. Duh.
One day we'll figure it out. Maybe.
if we get there.
So was there any when I did my Google search, was there any past articles of anybody else going missing in that area?
Mm.
Or like
Yes.
urban legends or something.
You were able to find a lot of urban legends for sure. Just again about voices and sometimes seeing apparitions, particularly in the Sauerkraut Cave area. Sometimes just within the mouth of the cave itself, you'll see those weird pictures people take. Like, oh, look at the orbs, man, it's ghosts,
Oh
right?
God.
You get that crap a lot, but then there were some very, in your experience, legitimate pictures of spirits appearing just inside the cave, disembodied apparitions. Not necessarily full figure, but definitely something legitimate is there. You can see some scattered reports of people going missing every now and again, reportedly in that area and surrounding. So, like the neighborhoods that are nearby and things like that, there's some scattered reports. And definitely other, I mean, just a lot of reports surrounding those missing reports of spiritual activity. So, in your estimate, it seems to increase around the time when someone actually goes missing, very close to the cave.
Okay. So instead of searching information about the Sauerkraut Cave, can I do more research on the actual sanitarium itself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely can. So this,
Okay.
so we're in the boring part here. Uh, so let's see. Let me get this pulled up. So, it again was there. It was built in. Well, let's see. It was a 192 bed adult psychiatric hospital in 18.
I'm sorry.
Bless you. In 1869, 200 acres were actually purchased in order to build it, and yeah, so it's a very large estate that it used to be. That is all now the Tom Sawyer State Park. Um, let's see, in 1887, it was just called the Asylum, but they did change the name to the Lakeland Asylum. By 1912, it was known as Central State Hospital. There, of course, with when you get to these older institutions like that, you of course will find reports of abuse and
Mhm.
misdiagnoses. Because we didn't really know what a lot of things were and how to treat them. They were clearly using shock therapy at some point. It was a very dismal place for a very long time, of course, because of that lack of treatment. Starting in the 50s, they they actually started letting patients out. They weren't putting as many patients in there. They at one time, it was built to accommodate 1,600 patients, but in the 40s they were actually in excess of 2,400 patients. So again, that mistreatment and just general neglect of the population were being reported more frequently and things. It did. Let's see. Where did it go? In the 60s, they started construction on a new facility because of the overcrowding and the fact that that building was just getting run down. It was definitely going to be falling apart, and they could not afford to maintain such an old building. Um, so they started building the new Central State Hospital. In 1986, it was completed, and the original hospital was closed, but they were abandoned and demolished in the late 90s. It is unknown exactly how many deceased patients are buried on the hospital grounds because they are buried there. There's several cemeteries that dot the 200 acres, but there are over 900 death certificates that exist denoting burial there. So yeah, there's just it's the whole estate, basically the entire state park area, is always somewhat spiritually active.
Mm.
It's just kind of a thing because of all the bad shit that happened
Okay. Oh, let's see here.
All the bad shit that happened.
Okay, so at this point, we should at least go check it out visually, just because obviously being at a distance, it could be anything. It could just be kids messing around and ending up getting hurt, so on and so forth, especially since the guy obviously in the video he just ran away. He didn't even bother to check, so it could have been even just the guy fell, broke his leg, so on and so forth.
Yeah. It's an old
Um,
tunnel too, so there could be holes and stuff.
right, absolutely. But we also do need to be cautious of the fact that it was a sanitarium and that there is obviously going to be a lot of more negative type energy in that area, whether it's spiritual or so on and so forth. Just even residual energy from all the things that happened at the sanitarium since it's been around for so long. And obviously, because there are so many deaths, even just the ones that are accounted for, not even the ones that aren't necessarily accounted for. So, first step will definitely be just to get a visual of the area and make sure it's not something as simple as a collapsed cave, a broken leg, something unrelated to what we should be investigating. So, I would definitely start there.
Cool. So you're gonna head to the site and do an
I'm
investigation.
totally into this because it's super goth and I'm cool with it.
Tamaki's like, "Yay, ghosts!"
Yatta!
Alright, so you guys decide to go ahead and investigate the actual site of Sauerkraut Cave, which is fantastic. So, again, being supported by this shadowy world organization, you've got a budget, you have transportation, but what do you guys think that transportation should be? I mean,
Station wagon.
I'm of course picturing the fucking mystery machine, but we don't want to necessarily go with that.
Something a little more um, off terrain, like a utility SUV of sorts, because it's large enough that we can carry all of our shit with us and fit everybody in. But it's also going to be more practical than something like an SUV because it's actually like four wheels or all wheel drive that can go off terrain, so that we're not hiking forever because we've got all of our equipment and stuff. So something more like the Subaru Crosstrek or the
I was
CRV,
thinking
like
more
the
like
Honda CRV or something like that.
about something like a Ford Bronco. Huh?
I think that's a resounding no to the Ford Bronco.
Uh,
No.
just the hillbilly in me.
Yeah, no.
Gotcha. So we got a nice four-wheel drive SUV that's got enough room to fit
It's got a lot of
everybody in
room.
it. So I'm pretty sure that was a no to the station wagon as well. Sorry, Sam.
I feel like I'm the responsible one making the decision, so I get to pick the car.
Yeah,
I mean,
in my
that's pretty fair. I guess
in my mind, you're probably the I wouldn't necessarily say senior agent, but you're definitely the one who's in charge of this particular office.
It
Like,
has to be black.
well,
Obviously.
of course. Okay, so you guys load into your Honda CRV and you head out to the Tom Sawyer State Park. So when you get there, there's a couple of entrances into the park. What you do is kind of take the back entrance. It depending on which way you go to get there, you actually will pass by the new Central State Hospital on your way, so you can see the newer construction. And when you take a left turn to go towards the actual park, it just becomes slowly a wooded area. There's a few houses, but not a lot. As you get closer on your left, you can just see nothing but trees. On the right, there's a few houses, and you turn into the park. When you get to the park, on your right when you're pulling in is they actually have a BMX like track, which is always kind of weird. Never understood that one. But and then there's some baseball fields on your left. It's just there's a fence, and beyond the fence is actually some just a little bit of open field, but there's definitely wooded areas back there, very heavily wooded. And as you keep going, you can see on your right past when you get past the baseball area, there's just open fields, and there's a track that's clearly made for people who want to walk. And on your left, all the way at the end, before you have to actually stop, is an archery range. And since you did your research on Google, you know that all you have to do is park at the archery range, and it's a very short walk from there actually to get to Sauerkraut Cave. And since this it is a
feel like
state
you
park, you can't really just kind of drive your big old SUV anywhere you
Right.
want. So we'll assume you guys are not going to be assholes and just go four wheeling in a state park. And so
As
you park.
tempting as that may be,
There's literally a
not
picture
trying
of
to get
someone
kicked
in
out.
Sauerkraut Cave eating KFC.
Yeah, there is. Yep. Yeah, no, like I said, that's one of the things that I was kind of insistent on is this is going to take place in Louisville. It's going to be real places. It's going to be real addresses, real buildings, real urban legends, as much of the real stuff as I can because I just think it's kind of cool for somebody to go, what the hell is he talking about? And then Google it and go, holy shit, that's an actual thing.
Okay, I got questions.
Yes.
What time of day is it?
Go.
What time of day is it? So judging from where your office is down on, I'd say somewhere. What did we decide? Was it in the Highlands or on Third Street area? Definitely old Louisville area. This is probably in the early afternoon, maybe late afternoon, not dusk, but not morning. So
Okay.
like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., somewhere in that area.
What time was it when the guy went missing, approximately?
The video was definitely dark. The video wasn't posted until the next day, so it's hard to know exactly when the video was taken. But in the video, it was very dark out.
Okay. So we can do a visual take of the area just so we know what's going on. But honestly, I mean, anytime you're working with any kind of like spiritual or energy type things, obviously you're going to have a lot of interference, especially during the day, especially with it being a state park, so or a park in general. So we probably will have to come back once it's closer to dusk.
Well,
But at least then we'll kind of already know the area.
did you guys want to? I mean, do you just want to say, you know what, screw it, it's too light out, and come back later? Or did you want to investigate the area a little bit now?
I would
mean,
like to. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It just I was looking at a video of it. It doesn't look like it like you can go in the daytime, but I guess we could go in the dark too. It looks like there's like a really short path. It took this guy like maybe 2 minutes to go down the path to where the cave starts.
Yeah, it's actually very heavily trafficked area. So there's a hiking
Yeah.
trail. Hiking trails go everywhere out there, and there is a hiking trail that goes right past the cave. So
So again,
Yeah, there's
potentially
one
a
of the
lot of
straight
interference.
yeah, it is definitely.
makes sense.
It's not super heavily trafficked because a lot of people don't know it's there, but
Mm.
you do get more people who kind of stumble upon it and will be like, "Oh, look at this fucking cave! What's going on in this cave?"
There's graffiti all over it.
Yeah, it's not hidden at all. It's not hard to find. It was open as far as a hiking path to go by it. You still weren't really supposed to go in it, but you could go by it. Up until about a year ago, they actually put down a sign that says no trespassing, no entry beyond this point, only official authorized personnel, that sort of thing. So they have kind of closed it off now.
Mm.
But
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it's a state park. It's not like there's somebody sitting there with a gun waiting for you to
Right.
trespass.
Well, my thing was is that I'm fine with being there during the day to get a visual, since we'll check to make sure that there's not like we talked about previous, like
Right. Okay, so as
yeah.
you walk up onto the cave, again, it's you just a short walk from the archery range. You kind of veer down a hill. There's what is very clearly a access path for official cars that goes down there, and you take a left off of that, and that will get you into the Sauerkraut Cave area. There's just some somewhat dense wooding on your left and right, but the path is very clear in front of you. It's not obstructed at all. It's not hard to get to, and you get to the clearing where you can see the mouth of the cave, and you see again, it's not really a cave. There's brickwork. It was very much constructed. They only call it a cave now because it's just looks like a cave, I guess. I don't really know why they call it a cave, but it's very much looks like it was constructed on the outside. The top of it, there's some rocky bits that are outcropping, some trees over it, but this underneath, like this ledge shelf where the rock ends, there are brick walls, very heavily graffitied, like really heavily graffitied, and you can see that if you get a little closer and look, it's just graffiti on top of graffiti on top of graffiti, and they've just been kind of tagging over each other for decades in this area. So it's definitely known as a place to go. Inside the cave, in this midday sort of lighting. You can see most of the way into the cave, about halfway in. Um, it's just like a muddy floor. There's a little bit of brick there, but it's definitely not like it's tiled. It's not paved. It's mostly just mud. You can definitely tell it's not someplace you want to be if there's been a heavy rainfall, because it's just going to be really bad and muddy in there.
Okay. So I definitely, since it's muddy, check to see if there's any sort of prints of any kind, whether it's prints on the walls or actual footprints, just to see if there's any sign of anyone or anything being in that area.
Okay. So you look around and there's definitely a lot of compacted mud. There's definitely footprints everywhere. Just because, again, it's a bit of a trafficked area because it's in this cave. Unless there's a really heavy rain, those prints are going to stay for a little while. So it's hard to really get a bead on what exactly is going on. Now that you're on site, don't forget you did have those holds, so you can ask those questions if you'd like.
What are the questions that I can ask again?
Let me find it. I really need to bookmark these pages, like really badly. No.
Yeah, he's gonna bro, you're gonna have to bend down too, cause there's like it's really short.
It's
The
not as
cave gets
short as
really
you
short.
think. Actually,
In
all
the
of you.
Google thing, he's bending down
No, all
when
of
you
you.
get to the back of it.
Oh yeah, towards the back. In the mouth of the cave, it does slowly get smaller as you get towards the back, but about up until about halfway in, like I can stand fine in there. Been there, done that. So yeah, it does start to get smaller the further back you get, but you can get in pretty good ways before you have to start ducking. Where is that page? I cannot find it. Shit, I really need to bookmark this thing.
I was gonna say, I want to do the obvious thing. I just want to lean over and just yell in the cave.
Just want to yell in the cave? Okay,
Like,
so so while Luca's in here just clearly trying to do a good investigation, taking time, poring over the ground, looking for footprints and things, we have Brokoff just kind of goes to the entrance of the cave and yells. Well, what are you yelling at?
hey, Steve!
Oh
Steve!
god.
Steve!
Okay, nobody else wants to respond to this?
I just
Steve!
turn around and stare at him and roll my eyes.
And shrug my shoulders
I'm
at it
probably
like
And
gonna
then
have to.
I shoo him with just hand movements.
Yeah, that
Fine.
sounds pretty accurate. Yeah.
Back to the back of the line.
But you don't get a response. You definitely hear a bit of an echo. An unexpected sort of echo because again, it's not huge. You can't go terribly far back, but it sounded like it echoed maybe a little more than what you could see. Like it sounded like more of an echo than what maybe it should have been. And I am never gonna find this damn page. Ever. Where did it go? Shit. Seriously?
What are you looking for? Oh yeah, I remember. Never mind. I pay attention, I promise.
Okay, wait. I think I found it. I did not find it. Jesus. All right, there it is. Okay, so you were able to hold two because you were able to roll so well, so you can actually ask two questions if you'd like. Um, the questions are, what happened here? And these are very specifically like, what happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can it hurt? Or what can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? And what is being concealed here?
Oh man, that's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull up that PDF. Hang on a second.
I might have to get that PDF right there.
Yeah, if you've got a copy, that's probably helpful.
Let me hold that.
Huh?
Nothing.
She just went hold my beer and then had to go look at a PDF.
What
You
page
have
is
a
that
PDF?
on?
That is page 102.
What need to get a PDF of this book.
My God, you scared the shit out of me. What the hell? Don't do that.
Are you crying?
I'm not crying, you're crying.
What's the section called?
The section is Get Ready for Action. Actually, like the almost very last page. It is specifically page 102, though. It's just after the basic moves. It's in the, Get Ready for Action area. A few pages into there. And obviously some of these questions are a little more specific situationally.
Hey, bro, so did you say you just ran in there?
Do what?
Okay, investigate a
Ryan.
mystery.
What?
What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? What did it go? What was it going to do? Okay.
But no, say I did not run in there. I'm standing back in the back of the line again because I was shooed away.
Yeah, what's Tamaki doing during this investigation?
Probably listening to his damn iPhone.
Yeah, I'm playing in the trees. I don't have an iPhone, first of all.
You didn't steal it?
No, I stole. You know what? My character probably would have had an iPhone. I'm just morally against it. I do have an iPhone.
Okay.
I'm probably playing in the trees. Because usually she just figures things out and tells us what to do. So I'm gonna play in the trees.
Okay, so I guess the first question is going to be what is concealed, because you said that there's more of an echo than what there should be, which seems very, very odd.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Okay, so that gets rid of one of your hold questions. Damn
Yes.
your good rolls. So as you investigate the cave, you can see towards the mouth of the cave, there's definitely a few more footprints, but as you get more towards the back, you can see less footprints, but there's like drag marks. And these drag marks are, if you're looking into the cave, are they're leading towards the back left of the cave. And what you find back there is the brick wall is there. It's mostly bricked up, but at the very extreme left, there's like a drainage ditch kind of looking thing with a small trickle of water coming through, and there's actually a opening there big enough for a person to fit through. And the drag marks very distinctly look to be heading towards that. See that, guys? It's like I thought this out beforehand or something. Weird, I know.
Oh, it's like you've been there.
I have been there several occasions. I will link the weird Scooby-Doo-like video we made.
Yay! I love Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
That's my
So,
initial.
we know then that it's something that is small enough to fit into that hole, most likely. So it's not going to be, hopefully, anything huge unless it's the X-Files and it's the guy that just like turns into like goo and can squeeze
Oh yeah,
through
that
any
guy.
hole. Yeah. Hopefully that's not what's happening, because I hated that guy who's freaky as fuck.
Yeah, it was when they look in the vent and he's just kind of in there. Oh God, I always hated that. Oh.
No.
Or when he escapes through the cell, like when he's like imprisoned and he like squeezes through the bars, and it's like, yeah, no. Anyway.
Yeah.
It always gave me like weird chills. I hated it.
Yeah, that one was forever creepy. To this day, it's like, ugh.
I think my favorite creepy X-Files episode is Baby and the Cockroaches.
I don't remember that one.
It's like
There's
the
so many
genetically
episodes,
engineered cockroaches, and you can literally just like see them like crawling under like the wallpaper and stuff. They're like
Ugh.
everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
really?
yeah, I vaguely remember that. That sounds terrible. I don't want to remember that.
It's War of the oh shit. Hang on. I just remember that the woman was Bambi. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. I hated that episode. All right,
All I
so
remember
so yeah,
is
so you
what
definitely
the top
find
persons did.
again, it's big enough that you could definitely fit through there. Like anybody could really crawl through
okay, even Brosidon over here.
there. Yeah, he may be a little bit of a tighter squeeze because he is very large, but he can still fit. Besides,
Okay.
it's a
Well,
little
what's his
mucky and
base on
slimy,
him?
so he'll just slide right on through.
That's disgusting.
Yay!
It is a little disgusting, isn't it?
All right. So what's the next step? So we know that that's most likely where it went. So do we just slide through the hole, or do we do some more
Is
investigating?
that what she said?
Yeah, potentially.
As
That's also what she said.
as the token big shit, I'm also immortal, so I'll take less damage if it's a far drop. I'll nominate myself to jump down first.
Well, you're
The
not jumping
question is,
down.
it's
It's
like
like a crawl space.
yeah, it's like
Oh,
a
well.
storm drain,
Okay,
right?
well, I nominate
Right.
myself to get
Right.
ooey gooey.
So do we have any like lights or anything that we can try to see how far back it goes before it opens up into like another room, or if it's blocked or anything like that?
Yeah, we can definitely
I mean,
assume
I
that.
got a flashlight on my phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can definitely assume that you guys aren't necessarily right out of monster hunting college, community college probably, but you're not fresh to the job,
No,
so you probably have some
Sorry.
preparation done, flashlights, things that you think you might actually need. So it's reasonable
Okay.
to assume everybody has at least a flashlight on them.
Okay. So
So
can we
yeah.
see with our flashlights how far the cave seems to go, or the storm drain seems to go, or is it too far for us to be able to really tell?
Okay, who wants to check?
Brosidon.
I'll do it.
Bro,
Oh no, he'll do it. So when he does that, ask him what he sees with his flashlight eyes.
Okay, so go ahead and describe to me what that looks like.
What me?
Brosidon. Your name is now Brosidon. I think that's just.
Okay, so
I think that's just gonna be it now. Really.
So what looks like me crawling through this?
Oh yeah. Describe this action. Describe it.
Um,
If you Google Sauerkraut Cave, you can actually find a picture of exactly what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about that tiny hole
Mm-hmm.
that's inlaid in brick?
Yep. It's all the way in the back.
Okay, cool. Yep. I was looking at that earlier.
Yeah.
all right. So first of all, I want to say that it is very uncomfortable as I am making my way through this muck. If it's anything like the picture I'm looking at right now, it does not look pleasant.
No, it's very
So
muddy.
you know how there's a moment when you're about to put your flashlight in something when it's like super dark because you've already looked at your flashlight, and then you look at it and everything appears. As soon as that's about to happen, I'm gonna be like, "Oh God, look out!"
What an asshole. So so Brosidon there is just like he's leaning down to get a good look in. He's just got his flashlight up, and you're just behind him going, "Oh God, what's that?"
Yeah.
Oh, nervous fart.
My head is right there.
Yeah, so you got a nice.
What is what? I don't see anything. I am what?
Yeah,
It's
so
behind me. Turning around's not going to be easy.
so you're leaned down in there. You've got your flashlight out, and you're shining it down, and you can see it goes back further than what the flashlight will actually show you. So you can't see what's beyond maybe 10 feet.
All right.
Well,
So
that's inconvenient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Thanks,
Gonna
Michael.
Full disclosure, I've never gone that far into the cave, and I never will, because that's absolutely horrifying. A small enclosed dark space under tons of rock. Yeah, no thanks. I'm fucking good. So from here, it's all conjecture.
Just
Cool.
just keep crawling. Just keep crawling.
So you're just
There's
gonna.
no video of anyone going in either. I was just looking at it.
Yeah, no, there's
So,
not that I've ever seen. It is
are we just
legitimately dangerous. So I do want to take a moment. If anybody actually does ever listen to this and goes, "Oh, Sauerkraut Cave is a real place," go check out the cave. It's really cool. You're not supposed to go back there right now, but who gives a shit? Just do it. You know, you're not. What are they gonna do? Tell you to leave? Yeah, that's probably all they're gonna do. Do not go any further into that cave, though. Do not go through that crawl space. Legitimately, do not know what's back there. It is probably really dangerous. So we're just gonna put that disclaimer out. If you go back there and you fucking die, it is not our fault.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your own stupid ass. So
All right. So are we just going for it,
Just I'm just trucking through this
or
tunnel.
he's just all right. Bro Sliden's just
he's
pumping
just
himself.
doing it. All right, he's just gonna
Yeah,
get
he's
it done.
just like, yeah, you were just supposed to see how far back you could see, not actually climb through the hole.
So I'm picturing this as he's just like, all right, let's do it, and he's already started going through, and you're back there like, wait, no, wait, what do you?
Hey guys, it's a lot deeper down here.
Yeah,
Though.
she does that, and I just like pat him on the back and be like, "Go for it, buddy."
How are you patting him on the back? He's in a
Yeah, he's
storm
crawling.
drain.
He's
On
crawling
the
down.
back
Are
side.
you gonna follow him as well?
Just pat me right on the butt cheeks.
I'm gonna breathe really hard, take off my leather jacket, and then yes.
I'm gonna take off my leather jacket and throw it in the mud.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang it on one of the bricks.
Okay. Okay, I got you. All right, so you both are just like, let's do it, and heading on down, and Luca's just going, I don't know if this is a good idea.
So
Okay, so
I'm
2 minutes
gonna
into
go.
it, like a little bit into it, I want to back out and be like, "Hey, you coming?"
I'm gonna go get my daggers out of the car because fuck that. We're all just going into a hole unarmed.
Well, the General Shepherd, my big ass sword, is always on my back. I don't take a dump without that thing around me.
Yeah, and it's such a tight fit in there. As you're crawling through, you can hear like the hilt is kind of like scraping the top of the tunnel. Just that metallic sound of scraping,
Yes.
just the entire way.
That's attractive.
Yeah.
I guess I have my weapons. If you're going back to the car, you should totally take my leather jacket back.
No.
Fuck your leather jacket. So I mean, you don't necessarily have to go back to the car for that. It's daggers. Okay. It's pretty safe to assume that you probably just have those on you. They're not hard to conceal.
Yeah,
they're not hard to carry. Generally, you know that you may need them, so probably a good idea to just kind of assume they're on you already.
Cool.
I absolutely love the fact that like a cart came in my head and my big ass is in the cave. Just kind of like I got one direction, and Sam's behind me, just back and forth, just like, "Hey, Luca, you coming? What's going on?" I'm just like, "What's going on back here?"
I know, right? Can't properly turn around, so you just like.
I kind of look between my legs, like, what?
Okay, so now,
you're yelling. You're like yelling in my face.
So now everybody's just going through this cave then.
Yes.
Okay. So
unfortunately, I'm very unhappy.
We agree,
about this.
so we do it.
So as you're going through the cave, you get say a good 30 feet down, 10 to 15 feet or so past where your flashlight was actually showing you, and it just ends. There's a brick wall back there. It's you can see where the drainage is going underneath this portion of brick, but there's no way through there.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Well, this is awkward.
All right, so what now?
What do the people who can maneuver around want to do?
Wait, so you're saying it just ends in a brick wall?
Yeah, there's a brick wall. At the bottom of the brick wall, you can see where the drainage is. There's still room for the drainage to come through, but you can't really get past it.
I think we should go touch it.
Gonna go touch it?
Yeah, what if it's not a brick wall?
You
Might as
have
well go check.
Poseidon in front of you. How are you going to do that? We're all in
Okay.
a storm drain.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
will touch it.
bro, go touch it.
All right. So I'm gonna reach out and I'm gonna two-hand
Touch the butt.
go to shove this wall to make sure it is intact.
Okay. So,
You want me to
I
roll
mean,
some unholy strength on it?
I mean, are you wanting to like try to break it, or just like want to touch it to see is this a real brick wall? What's the
I'm
motivation there?
I'm going to give it a good unholy strength shove just to make sure it's a legitimate.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wall.
So go ahead and roll to kick ass, which is legitimately what
I
that's
love
called in
that
this
it's
game.
called that.
Yeah, you're gonna kick some ass on a brick wall. Go ahead and roll and add. Let's see, because you have unholy strength, you get to roll plus weird instead of tough. So you can add 3 to that roll.
And it's 2d6.
2d6. Yep, always 2d6.
I got a 10.
Got a 10. Nice, very good roll. All right, let me.
13?
No, that was
Yes,
with the modifier.
13.
No, it was
You rolled a
7.
7 plus the 3. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my god,
James.
quesadillas are so good.
Shut up, I'm hungry. Stop talking about food.
So since you rolled
I
10
have
or
one
higher,
left.
you can actually gain an advantage that you can take forward, or you can give +1 advantage forward to another player. So what that is what is the advantage? I can't remember. I believe it allows you to re-roll one of your die if you need to. So if you roll super low and you want to try to re-roll one of them, I believe you can do that. I'll double check here in a moment. You can inflict terrible harm. This is if you're fighting a creature, of course, usually where it'll do 1 extra harm, or suffer less harm, so you take less damage when you're attacking, or force them where you want them. So if you want to push somebody off of a cliff, that basically covers that. So as you just like walk up and you just punch the holy hell out of this brick wall, absolutely nothing happens. The brick wall is very clearly a brick wall at this point. It's very corporeal, very sturdy. It's not going anywhere by your estimate.
All right. So, Luca,
Good hustle.
What?
what you thinking?
I tap
Well,
him on
I
the
vote
butt.
we get out of the storm drain.
Fair enough.
Alright.
Somebody spit on me. I'm coming back.
Yeah. Backing up.
Yeah, that's an image we didn't need.
I just love the fact that I can picture like Tamaki and Luca just turning around and crawling forward, and I gotta back my big ass up like a semi truck. Just
Beep, beep.
nothing to see here, guys.
Yeah, it seems legit. Seems legit. All right, so we'll assume everything goes fine. You get backed out. You're probably very much covered in mud and muck at this point.
Very pissed
Luckily,
off.
and yes, Luca's clearly very pissed off that you guys went and did this asinine thing that she knew was going to fail completely.
Yeah. Alright. So now what?
I mean, you're the boss, Luca.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. So the +1 forward, I actually remember now, actually is the next time you do a roll of any sort, you can add a 1 to it. So you can take that for yourself since you did roll so well, or you can give it to somebody else who might need it. It's up to you.
All right. Can I hold and give it to someone later, or do I have to like designate someone to have it now?
You have to designate now.
I'm gonna give it to Luca.
Okay, cool. So you've got +1 forward. That'll work on your next roll for whatever you may need.
Okay.
So you guys are back into the mouth of the cave. not a lot of time has passed. It's not like it's hours later or anything. This was literally like maybe 20 minutes of you guys struggling to get through this tunnel, only to have to turn around
Oh my god.
and go back the other way for about another 20 minutes.
I actually kind of feel bad now.
Okay, so obviously that didn't work. So our only other option that I can think of off the top of our head is to try to go through the sanitarium. Since
Well,
it's an entrance to the sanitarium.
the sanitarium is demolished. There's nothing up top except for wooded areas now.
There has to be still like where was the entrance though? Can we find blueprints of the building to estimate where the other side of it may be?
You probably can, but considering it's a very, very old building, it's going to be extremely difficult to find. So it could, but I don't think you're going to be able to like Google it. Like you may be
Okay.
able to go down to City Hall or whatever, however the shit that works. I don't even know. You see it in movies all the time where they have to go down, talk to somebody at the city department, and maybe find some old dusty blueprints that they may or may not give you. But I will say that you did a Google search. You know that the actual building has been demolished for at least 20 years now. There's not really a lot left. There are smaller entrances that do to these drainage areas and things that do kind of dot these 200 acres. You can find smaller brick remains from pieces of the building and outbuildings and things of that nature. You can actually go to one of the graveyards that they had. But
Cool.
this is in everything. Yeah, no. And again, I highly recommend going to Tom Sawyer Park if you haven't. It's a really cool. They've got
Does that
lots of
mean that
hiking areas.
we should take a field trip?
Take a field trip. You can take a field trip anytime you like. But in your estimate, this is really the most significant thing that remains is just this cave.
Okay, so does anybody have any suggestions then?
Does anyone have like a magical like investigate to see if there was anything
Stakeout?
that happened here that wasn't, you know, open for the naked eye, I guess, like, you know.
Does anybody have a minor explosion spell?
Yeah.
Grenade.
So we're just gonna blow the hell out of everything. That's.
I have a
minor
bat.
explosion, all right?
I mean, I do have a base magical force.
So tell you what, we'll save some time, honestly, and with what you've seen of the cave so far, the fact that you are there during the day and the video was taken at night, the research you've done, you're probably not going to get anywhere here during the day. In your experience investigating paranormal phenomena, the daytime is the worst time to investigate any of that shit.
That's what I said originally.
Yeah. But now you know kind of what's going on. You've gotten the lay of the land, so to speak. The ley line of the land.
Go for ice cream. Oh, shut up. We should go for ice cream and then we can stake out.
You do. I mean,
okay, fine.
Might be a cold stone around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Birthday cake milkshakes!
Neil.
Okay.
Alright, well, I guess we're getting ice cream.
I feel like we start chanting birthday cake.
Here you go. You ready for this? You ready for this one?
Oh my god.
For no good reason. Ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not.
Like, I'm eating quesadilla.
Okay.
I can't
So
start
you guys feel like you've done just about everything you can do at this point in time as far as investigating this. So you're going to take a break and go grab some lunch.
Yes.
And come back after the sun has gone down to try to investigate.
Yes.
Okay. So you do find that nearby to the park, there's several restaurant options. One of which is a Steak and Shake. It's actually a good Steak and Shake, by the way. It's not one of the shitty ones. And so you can get your birthday cake milkshakes, have your steak burgers and fries, and whatever else you may want to partake of.
You know what you can't get there now? You can't get cottage cheese because they don't have it on the menu anymore.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Thank God they took that baby's vomit off the menu.
Yep.
That is all I eat there.
That's
Same, you're doing it wrong.
weird. Okay.
Oh, cottage cheese is delicious.
Hard pass.
So you guys take the time, you sit down, you eat, you know, and just kind of, I don't know, fool around. I imagine Luca's probably doing some research on the area and things while you guys are waiting for your food and eating. So there's like just a laptop out, just very annoyingly in the middle of the table.
Yeah, I feel like this is like Sam and Dean sitting there and like and like Sam is doing all the research and Dean is just like swimming and eating all the food. And pie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Except there's two of you eating pie and just me researching.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want it to be known that although I am half demon, I am a pinky out pie eater. Very dainty with my pie.
So you guys hang out and you get a bite to eat, and the sun goes down, and you're able to make your way back to the Sauerkraut Cave area. Of course, at night, it's very
That's
dark
fine,
back
you can
there.
have them. You're welcome.
It's very dark back there, so you do have to have your flashlights out and make your way back to the front of the cave. And it feels different now. So during the day, it was just this cave. Now it just feels really different. That hair on the back of your neck standing up kind of feeling, where it just doesn't feel right. Maybe you feel like you're being watched, that sort of thing. Just
So
very
an internal EMF reader.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just very creepy vibes going on. As far as Broside in there can actually feel like, yeah, there's definitely some real supernatural shit here. Since
So
he's part demon, you just kind of have that feeling around you of, yeah, this is the real deal. This isn't actually some bullshit.
I want it to be known that I'm taking the General Shepherd off my back and I'm gonna tap it on the ground like, all right, some things are happening around here.
If I see him do that, I'll take out my baseball bat.
Okay, so this is
baseball bat.
I know, right? So this is a good point, a good way to point out that as part of use magic, which anybody can do, some are better at it than others, of course. You can, if you'd like, take a moment and enchant your weapon, so it does 1 extra damage if you'd like. The use magic system in this is actually very versatile. You can do a lot of things that aren't necessarily in the book, as long as they make sense for the world that you're in and the game that you're playing. It's somewhat limitless, but yeah, you can enchant your weapon so it gets +1 harm and plus magic. So bear that in mind. You can have it inflict harm. Again, trap a specific person, banish a spirit or curse, or place one. Summon a monster into the world, which I think is kind of a weird one, but okay. Observe another place or time. So these are all options that can aid in investigations and things, as well as combat. So just as a reminder, because I feel like that's something very important to note, that this is an option you have, if it succeeds. It doesn't always succeed, of course.
Can I?
I don't even have magic.
So everybody has magic. It goes off of your weird.
I have a negative -1 though.
Yeah, so you're really bad at magic.
So when I tap the general on the ground as my signal that something might be around, can I roll to give it like a fiery what's the word I'm looking for here?
So it can look like whatever you like. So you're wanting to enchant it.
Yes.
At this point. Okay. Yeah, that can take whatever form you like. It can just be a slight glow. It can be flaming. It can be whatever you want it to look like. It will still have the same kind of effect on it. So go ahead and roll me your 2d6s and add your weird.
Another 10.
Another 10. So straight up just 10. All right, so it works without issues. So that's no fun.
So it just kind of clicks on, just.
Whew. Right, you tap it on the ground a few times, and this quick blast of flame just kind of runs up the blade's edges, and it has a very distinct glow about it. You can definitely see this is this is a thing for sure. So, yeah, so all your shit's gonna be fire-like, huh? That'll
Mm-hmm.
work. Okay, so you've got that going for you. And again, this is just that really creepy feeling. The cave, you can't really see into it now. It's just like this gaping black maw cut into the face of this rocky outcropping.
So I'm just gonna look over at
So, are the protection wards in this game, are they specific to like an area, or can you cast them on people?
Yes.
That's what I was about to ask.
Okay.
So you can bar a place or portal to a specific person, so you can kind of put like a barrier in a doorway to keep something out.
Uh-huh.
You can trap a person, so kind of like magical restraints.
Mm.
So that I think is going to fall into the kind of what you're asking about.
Well, I was thinking more like protection wards.
Oh, protection wards. Not really. I mean, you probably could if you were like a spell caster. The spell slinger probably could do something like that. Um, let's see. I mean, you know a lot. You've read a lot into things. You're not necessarily super big into the whole magical thing. So I would say that's probably something that does exist, but you don't necessarily have the practical experience to use.
Mm.
So what you're really asking me is, can I get a little extra protection here? And the answer is, when you take an advancement, if you all start failing rolls, by the way, you get experience points for failing a roll. You can actually, when you do advancements, you can gain stats, and that's something that you can gain is extra armor. You can take a move from another playbook. So there's playbooks that have that sort of thing in it. So it's something that I think later on you definitely, with all of your research, you can start learning more about magic and how to use it. I think right now you're not experienced enough for that.
Okay, because
Yep.
I actually have a 2 in weird, and that's why I was asking.
Right. It's not something mechanically that I've thought about. There's no specific mention in the book, so I'm going to say not right
Okay,
now.
that's
Fine. I tried to
Well-
come up with a really good reason that makes sense, but no, we're just going to go with the actual reason, which is I don't fucking know. I'm still learning.
Okay. Well, definitely find out, because my whole thing was like, even though I may not have like per se magic, I should still be able to use um like symbols of power and stuff like that, because it's all stuff that you just have to have information on, and it's all based upon like intent, kind of like how like Reiki is and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I
So,
absolutely agree with that. I 100% do. Thematically, it definitely makes sense. And again, with I think more experience, it's probably something that you could do.
okay,
Um,
cool.
so like there are, I'm trying to think. Your playbook specifically doesn't have any moves that go with that.
Mhm.
But again, once you do get a level up, you can go through the other playbooks, and I'm sure you can find something that will fit right into that.
Okay,
100%.
awesome.
So yeah.
So I guess then I just want to try to do like minor, like an enchantment on my weapons then.
Okay, go ahead and roll for me.
I only got a 3, but it's 5 with the weird.
Right, and you
and
have
you get the +1.
you have the +1, so that puts you at a 6. So where did it go? I just had that damn page. There it is. Okay, so anything below a 7 is actually a miss. So you lose control of the magic.
Aw.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna set all this on
Yeah,
fire.
this never ends well. But so okay, um, so basically you get a glitch. When you roll 7 to 9, you get it works, but it's imperfect. So you get the chosen effect, but you also get a glitch. The glitches are that the effect is weakened. The effect is of short duration. You take 1 harm, which ignores armor. The magic draws immediate, unwelcome attention, or it has a problematic side effect. In
Well,
this
that is
case,
potentially a good way to get things rolling, at least.
exactly. In this case, you have drawn a whole lot of unwanted attention, and
Oh,
you
wait,
can
I'm sorry. You
definitely
cut out. I didn't hear you.
you. So you try to cast this glyph to enchant your weapons,
Uh,
and it backfires. And there's like a really loud, just like what is it? It's like an implosion sort of sound, an explosion backwards, as it just fails spectacularly, and there's a big flash of light because it's just gone horribly awry. And you hear from inside the cave, there's definitely something in there that has now noticed that you're here. And like whereas before the hairs on the back of your neck were kind of standing up, now you've got that spine tingling, oh shit, kind of creeping up your spine feeling. And
They're gonna
inside the
look back at
cave,
Luca, say really loud, "Not cool, bro."
and inside the cave, you do see that there is definitely something in there. It's kind of glowy now. Yeah.
Glowy.
Glowy. It's glowy. So yeah, there's definitely a thing there now, and it does see you, and you can see it getting bigger. So it's moving towards the entrance of the cave itself.
Oops.
I would like to take a step forward to be in front of them both.
Okay, so you guys aren't like right up on the mouth of the cave just yet. Maybe 10 feet away from it. So we're gonna assume you're just walking straight up to the entrance of that cave to take on whatever happens to be there.
So I still have a question that I can use, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You still have that left over.
What the fuck? No.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's
the
my
fuck?
question.
So, so you try to use this magical enchantment. It goes horribly awry, and you hear this horrible, otherworldly, screeching, screaming type sound from inside the cave, and you see something in there. So you're just like, the fuck is that?
Yes.
Gotcha. Um, you know that is definitely a ghost. It is 100% a ghost, and it is
God, please tell
absolutely
me someone has salt.
and it is absolutely not happy at all that you guys are here. So that uses
Always
up
have
your 2
salt.
questions.
Salt. Lots of salt.
I got pocket sand. That's all I got.
That's
Pocket
not
sand,
helpful.
pocket salt, maybe. So, so it's approaching the front of the cave. It's not. It doesn't really look threatening. Like it's just kind of, it looks very passive as it's approaching the front of the cave. It's not really making any specific sounds now. It's actually very quiet now in the surrounding area. Like the birds have gotten the fuck out. The crickets have shut the fuck up. Like it is super quiet, and
Wait,
you don't
we're in
hear.
Kentucky. You mean the cicadas?
Oh, God, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna just burn the whole woods down. I hate those things.
I'm gonna
And-
wave at it.
I just want to look at it and say,
I'm gonna wave.
So, so Tamaki's just standing in the back like, hey, that's great.
Yep.
And Broside in there is just like, what's going on? Using his, oh, I'm a big bad demon voice.
I don't have a good big bad demon voice, so I had to get one.
I just did like this. I
So
woke
the
up like
ghost is, as it gets closer, you can see this ghost is very clearly female. It's a full-bodied apparition because yay Ghostbusters, and
Yay.
like you can't see past its gams, like past the calves. Like there's no feet. It's clearly not walking on the ground. It's just kind of floating there. It's classic kind of ghost, and it looks at you. And I'm sorry, what did you ask it? You just said sup. So it's just like new phone. Who dis? No, that's not what it says at all. So the ghost looks at
It's
you.
broken.
The ghost looks at you and says, "Go away. I don't want you here." Except it's a more
I think
feminine
he needs
voice
to
than
go.
what I can do. Sorry, I don't do good feminine voices. Okay, what do you want from me?
so as I'm Like I said, I wanted to be standing in front of both of them.
Yeah,
So
so
like,
you're like straight up in the middle of the mouth of the entrance. The ghost is maybe like somewhere 5-10 feet away from you. It's pretty close, not quite within melee distance, because I'm sure that's what you're thinking. And they're just kind of behind you, outside of the cave. There at that entrance area.
like, so what do you know about Steve?
I don't know any Steve, but I recently have found my daughter. Her name was
Oh.
Susan.
Just look around, kind of like, the fuck does that have to do with what?
I'm
Okay.
slightly concerned.
Oh, to Susan.
I don't know. I lost Susan when she was a baby. They took her away from me, but she's back now.
Who is they?
The doctors. They took Susan away and when she was a baby. They wouldn't let me keep her, but she came back to me and we're together now. And you really just need to leave us alone. I don't want to lose Susan again.
Well, we're not here for Susan. Let me assure you that. We're here because someone went missing, and we're trying to figure out why.
And that doesn't sound like it has anything to do with me. And you guys just need to leave. So you hear kind of in the back. Sounds really far away, but it's definitely coming from the back of the cave. You just kind of hear, like
We're being
it's
attacked
just a
by
very,
Murlocs?
it's just a very no. That's it's a little different. That was not a very good Murloc either. But it's clear somebody is yelling, but it's kind of like if you have your head underwater and somebody is next to you and their head is underwater and they're yelling, it kind of has that muffled, like it's definitely passing through something thicker than air kind of sound to it.
From behind
What is
us?
that?
From the back of the cave area.
Oh, from the back of the cave.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Alright, guys. I just got the information. You guys actually deal with the monsters here.
I guess I'm gonna ask her if that was Susan.
Yes, that's Susan. Can you guys please leave now? We just want to be alone and be together and happy.
She
Well,
doesn't sound
Susan
very happy.
Susan doesn't sound too pleased. Susan happened to be a grown man.
Susan is just Susan.
Mm.
But is Susan a man?
Susan is just Susan. So, trying to think. So it's very clear to you that this ghost just, number one, wants you to leave. Number two, doesn't quite understand what you're asking, and is, just very passively just wants to be left alone right now. But of course, you hear things coming from the back of the cave. The ghost just doesn't seem to understand enough to answer your question.
Okay, so what happens if I step forward?
If you step forward, so you're gonna step to be like right next to Brosidon.
I'm gonna step a little bit past him.
A little bit past. Okay. So you start going through the entrance to the cave. As you get closer, the ghost kind of shies away a little bit, kind of moves backwards and says, "Please leave. Leave us alone."
Can we just see Susan?
I don't know why you would need to.
I mean, everyone loves a cute kid.
We just want to be left alone.
So I just want to kind of look back at Luca there and just kind of give her the look of should we just get in there, dog?
Look, I already fucked everything up anyway, so you're asking the wrong person.
Okay, so what you're wanting to do, you're definitely trying to convince this ghost to let you see Susan. So what you're going to do is roll to manipulate.
So I'm not doing it. I have a -1 in charm.
Yeah,
I
as I
have a
say,
-1 in charm as well.
-1 in charm. You are some
I
awkward
got a
motherfuckers.
+2.
A +2. Okay, so if
Yeah.
you want to roll to manipulate this ghost and see what we get.
Alright, hang on.
Those are real dice.
How many dice do you have? You
Yeah,
only
I
need
know.
2.
Huh?
That's-
Yeah, one fell
Well,
off the
if you
table.
roll 12, you pick the best 2.
No,
No,
you
I
rolled
don't-
2.
Oh, that's how that works.
Let's see. I got 10.
10. That is very good. Let me find. Man, one of these days I gotta get some like tabs for this damn thing, so I know exactly what I'm looking at. That would be nice. Okay, so if you get 10 plus, they'll okay, so you're gonna tell them what you want them to do. So as you're speaking to this ghost, how are you going to phrase this? How are you asking this question?
I'm I'm thinking especially since it's manipulate, I'm probably gonna be
Whoa,
like
cutting
since
out.
you. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I was gonna be like, since you know, since this is the first time seeing your kid, like, wouldn't you want to show her off? Is there any way we could meet her? I'd love to meet her
Okay,
and see how happy your family is, something like that.
got you. Okay, so since this is just on an NPC, if you get a 10 plus, they'll do what you're asking for the reason that you give them. But if you've asked too much, so if it's something that's too far out of line, they'll tell you the minimum of what it would take for them to do that, or if there's absolutely no
Okay.
way that they would. I just suggest moving forward, just so you guys have an idea of what's going on in these sorts of situations. On a 7 to 9, they'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show you that you mean it. And if you ask too much, they'll tell you what, if anything, it would take for them to do it. And on a miss, you offend or anger the target. Now, the important thing to
Oh,
remember,
great.
yeah, well, I mean, you did fine, but the important thing to remember too is
Okay.
you can actually manipulate the other hunters, and it has different effects.
Hmm.
So, if you were trying to get, Luca to actually try a bite of your sandwich earlier, and you rolled on that, if you roll a 10 plus, and they do what you ask them, you get to they get to mark an experience point and get a +1 to move forward. On a
Oh, so
7,
it's just like incentive to actually do what they're trying to manipulate you to do.
right, you have the option. You don't have to do it, but if you do it, you get an experience point and +1 forward if you do it. And that's only on a 10 plus. If it's 7 to 9, you get to mark experience if you do what they're asking. And on a miss, it's up to the player how badly they're offended or annoyed. And they mark
Okay.
experience if they decide not to do what is asked in that case. So yeah, there's lots of weird opportunities to get experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, I really like the system because it leaves it open, but there's also advantages and disadvantages to making certain decisions. So at this point that you've said, hey, we just want to see your happy family, and the ghost says, oh, you know what, you're right, you're really right. I'm very happy and very proud of Susan, and yeah, just yeah, come in and say hello then. That sounds nice and pleasant. You guys aren't as bad as I thought you were. I thought maybe
I'm
you.
gonna look back at Luca and be like, it's the outfit.
It's gotta be. It's the hair. It's all of that.
Yeah.
The ghost turns around and starts heading towards the back of the cave and kind of waves you on. And says, I'm sorry. I thought you were the doctors, and I don't want to lose Susan again." So
I'm
the
not
ghost.
smart enough to be a doctor.
So the ghost is leading you towards the back of the cave. At the back of the cave, where the brick wall was, you can see now there's kind of a shimmery sort of field back there, vaguely in the shape of a door, possibly a little roundish, oblong. Definitely a portal of some sort that opens up, and you see the ghost just kind of walks right through it and disappears completely from view through the brick wall.
You
I'm
first.
gonna let Bro go through
Alright.
first.
Alright. Somebody
That was
spit on me.
too
We're
much.
going in the tunnel again.
Okay, so as you go through, when you first step through the portal, I mean you're kind of used to this thing. It doesn't weird you out or anything. You know, you've been through this sort of thing before, but you do feel just like as you walk through the portal, just like a wave of cold kind of goes through or across your skin. So you could just like if somebody took a hair dryer that was blowing really cold air and just blew it across your entire body from front to back. So it's just like a line of cold as you move through, and you come out on the other side, and you actually see that it's quite pleasant in here. It's a nice, say, 1800s looking drawing room sort of area. There's a nice couch. There's like a tea set. There's no windows, but there's really nice wallpaper, some pictures up and things, and it very much looks like what you probably would picture a waiting room sort of area for an old sanitarium to look like. Just very welcoming, actually pretty warm. And the ghost is now just like full on physical type form, not disembodied, not floating, feet firmly on the ground. And you see that there is a young bro with a backwards hat, and he's got a flannel long sleeve shirt on, and he's just kind of sitting in a chair, just looking not very pleased to be here. And he sees you come through, and he's just like, "Oh, thank God! I'm so glad you're here, bro."
Oh god.
I just kind of wave at him and say, "Hi, Susan."
Susan, man, I'm Steve, bro. I don't know who Susan is, but this bitch keeps talking about Susan. I'm like, I'm not Susan, and she's just like, you are Susan. And you see the ghost just go, Susan's always playing this game, silly Susan. And he's clearly just like freaking out at the moment as the reality of what's happening being real because someone else can see it sets in, and he's just kind of like mumbling and not making much coherent sense any longer.
I'm gonna look at him and be like, I'm pretty sure you look like a Susan.
And he's just like, man, I ain't gay, bro. Because he's a bro. So,
Your flannel shirt says differently.
And your backwards baseball cap.
Yeah.
Just want to look at my friends and be like, kind of give the gesture of like, should we, like,
should we what now?
I was give them the kind of like the little finger, like, should we just go right now? Like,
Just like leave him
Just
here.
leave Susan here.
back to my original, like, this is kind of karma for this
No,
D-bag.
as tempting as that may be. We have to figure out how to reunite Susan.
So the ghost this whole time is kind of, you can see, messing with like a tea set, and there's some it's a nice silvery old-fashioned tea set with numerous cups about the tray, and there's some biscuits there, and sits them down on, there's a smaller coffee table next to the couch, and sits them down and says, well, did you want to have some tea with us before you leave? I mean, I'm happy to show off Susan, but you can't stay long. We have things we need to do. And as you look at the bro over there, you can kind of see, like, underneath his cap, you can see that his hair has very clearly been like braided.
Oh my god, yes.
Been what?
Been braided with like little tiny bows and stuff. Like he's trying to hide it under the cap, but you can clearly see that that's kind of what's been going on.
That's funny.
Be like, ma'am, as much as I appreciate the whole family thing, this isn't Susan.
What do you mean this isn't Susan?
You're gonna piss her off.
This
Let's not do that.
It smells like
That's why
Susan.
I'm not saying that.
I can tell that this is definitely Susan. So, I'm trying to think. What can we do here? Nobody's got. So, does anybody want to roll to investigate at all at this point? So, because if you investigate a mystery, it really is like, hey, you can ask these questions, and we'll make them logically work out in the end.
I have 0 sharp, so I'm gonna leave that up to.
Oh, come on, take a chance. All it can do is fail.
Yeah, because we already fucked up once.
All right, you know what?
Yep.
Oh, by
Let's
the
get
way,
in there,
because
dog.
you know what? I almost forgot. Luca gets to mark off one of the experience blocks. Do it in pencil, not pen. Because you did fail that roll, you do get experience on a failed roll.
Oh, okay.
And just going forward, if you do fail a roll, you can spend one of your luck points to turn that fail into an automatic 12. But luck points don't come back ever.
Oh man. Okay.
All right, hold my beer.
So you only just get the 7 ever?
Wait.
Right.
I have a +1. Let me roll.
I have a
Okay.
2 in sharp. But I have shitty rolls, so it's your call.
I mean, I'm not afraid to
I'll
try it. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I'm down.
No, I'm trying it. Stop it.
All right, I'm doing it for shits and giggles. What I get? Glad you did it.
What'd you get?
6.
Wait, are
You
you
got a
doing it or am I
6.
doing it?
Oh, jeez.
God damn it.
So you're investigating. You rolled a 6.
Mine was
So
for
I got
shits and
an
giggles. Sam is doing it for real though.
I got
okay.
8.
You got an 8.
Yeah.
Awesome. So on a 7 to 9, you get to hold 1. So you can spend that to ask one question of what happened here, what sort of creature is it, what can it do, what can it hurt? Well, or I'm sorry, what can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? And what is being concealed here?
I guess I don't know. I guess I'm troubleshooting, but I think I should ask like, what is it going to do to Susan? Because he just said that they have something to do.
Right. It's definitely this ghost is just loving Susan. It's very much not doing anything bad to Susan other than holding in this otherworldly magical kind of realm, so kidnapping. But other than that, he's come to absolutely no harm. You can see he's very clean. He's not injured at all. In fact, like I said, with the hair being braided, he's very much being cared for, much as a mother would care for a child. So it seems, in your estimation, what's going on here is just the ghost is being the mom it
No,
couldn't be.
what's going to happen?
What's going
she
to happen?
just said like you need to
Oh.
leave because we have to do something.
Oh,
We're busy.
they were just gonna finish their tea party and play.
Oh, okay.
That's all they were going to do. So the ghost looks at you and says, "Really, I wish you would hurry up. It's a nice visit, but we have some playtime to do, and we've got to get some sewing done, and because we have to make Susan a nice, pretty dress because she doesn't have a pretty dress anymore. So we have lots we have to do."
Well, obviously, a full-grown man needs a dress.
And if you, so I'm just going to kind of speed it up. So Luca notices, just because Luca's kind of got an eye for this sort of thing, is very observant,
Because
used to
Luca's the nerd.
looking at details, because Luca's a total book nerd. Luca notices now that this ghost has a very corporeal form, there's a lot of similarities in the facial features of Steve and this ghost. Like, they're clearly Steve is not Susan in any way. Clearly Steve is not this ghost daughter in any way, but could be a grandson or a great grandson. Some kind of, definitely some kind of blood relative that is
Why did he not make that conclusion?
that is most likely making this ghost feel like this is Susan, because it's that close of a blood relation.
Well, when did the sanatorium shut down again?
The sanatorium was shut down in the 1980s. Judging by the look
Okay.
of the room and the clothes that the ghost is wearing, was probably much earlier than that, where this particular scene is being projected as or taking place.
So can we assume it's her grandson or great grandson?
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Do you have a mother or grandmother? Name of
Yeah, but we don't really talk about her much because she was crazy.
because she's oh well, you know,
We have a long line of
family.
mental illness in my family, bro. It's something we gotta watch out for.
Starting to make sense.
Right.
Did
So
he just like go woke, get woke for a second?
so basically, he is either a grandson or a great grandson of said ghost. So we need to convince said ghost that Susan was taken and given a life and lived her life and had children and lived a happy life. So it's okay to let go and not worry about Susan and to move on and let Steve go.
So I picture Luca is literally saying all of this
Yes.
to everybody, but you just kind of like did that. Hey, come here, guys, and you're like in the corner huddled up, just like whisper, 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 while the ghost is back there, like what the fuck is going on, and Steve's kind of freaking out still, you know.
Right.
Steve Brochill, is Crazy Granny Susan by chance still alive?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't know. We don't really associate with that side of my family. I haven't even seen my mom. She died when I was born, so we never really got connected with that side. I just heard a lot of stories about crazy in that side, bro.
This one like facepalm, lucky mom, lucky mom.
So yeah, I mean, again, I think it's pretty clear what's going on here. I think you guys have gotten the idea.
Right.
Of course, there's multiple ways to go about things, as always.
So my first step would be someone who had a charm to try to talk to and convince said ghost of what's actually happening.
Great, that's me.
You don't sound so sure about this. Be more confident.
Great. I'm really good at punch.
Just be like, hey, so great news.
Okay, let me
Susan
roll.
lived a long and happy life and had,
Okay.
had
Wait,
children.
under the table.
Yeah, this is your grandson.
I'm gonna do this. I keep losing my die. I'm gonna do this on the freaking computer.
I mean, that's
So
fine.
annoying.
It's much easier,
It
and
went
it keeps a
under the
nice little
table
log of all.
twice.
Which, had I known, I would not have been rolling random dice the whole time.
Where's that link? I think I closed it. Man, my dog needs attention 24/7.
Come in hot. There's a link.
She won't get out of my face. Okay. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna roll. Okay, I got 10 again.
10 again. Good God, you guys are rolling good.
Except me.
Except for you. But hey, you know what? You got experience for that, so joke's on them. Okay, so what is your compelling argument? How are you going to convince the ghost?
So, is he still dressed in his normal clothes?
Yeah, he's at this point still in his normal clothes. He's got his flannel shirt. He's probably got like a Limp Bizkit T-shirt, I'm assuming. Yeah, like he's probably like
This guy's
maybe like
bored.
a PBR belt buckle, like one of the big obnoxious ones.
Oh, he's
You know
got
how much I
bedazzled
don't want to
jeans.
save him more? I don't want to save him anymore.
Get talking,
Okay.
Tamaki.
I would do this.
Atomic
So,
Okay,
I guess
so
I'm gonna...
so as an alternative here, you can always instead of necessarily trying to manipulate somebody in certain situations, you can read a bad situation. So if you just got that hair on the back of your neck standing up kind of feeling, you can always roll as that, and that offers different questions that you can ask. For instance, what's my best way in? What's my best way out? Are there dangers we haven't noticed? What's the biggest threat? What's the best way to protect victims? Things of that nature. Just as an alternative, I think manipulate is still the best thing to do in this situation, but just as a kind of heads up, that's something that you can do as well.
Okay, no, I guess I should try to talk to her.
Okay.
I guess I kind of want to ask her, just be like, I guess Susan was I guess she knew that her child was a female. So I guess I kind of want to ask her to like really look at him and ask her, does this look like Susan? Does this look like this would be a female?
Okay, so
Just be
the
like,
ghost.
this is clearly a male,
Yeah, so just like take a close look. I don't think this isn't Susan.
but
Just take a close look.
before she goes crazy, I just want to insert, but Susan did live, and this is actually your grandson. So I want to put like, a little bit sugar with my hey reality.
Right. No, that's a very good argument. The ghost gets up from sets down the teacup and goes, you know what, you might be right. I kind of had my doubts when he went and was urinating in the corner standing up, but you might be right. I better investigate further. He's a bro. You know he did it. You know he did it. So the ghost sets her teacup down and stands up from the couch and walks over to Steve, gets like really close in his face, and you can see him like his eyes are wide and he's kind of freaking out more at this point. And she's really just looking, goes, you know what? I think you're right. This isn't Susan. Smells like Susan. Feels like Susan, but this doesn't look like Susan at all. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is my grandson, and I'm glad to know Susan had a good life and at least was able to have a family. I guess he should go. And
Yeah.
and Steve is like, yeah, bro, totally let me go. God, I hate this guy so much. I really do.
You made him.
I can't help it. It's just how it worked in my head. It seemed the right thing to do. So,
Okay, so let's meander before she changes her mind.
so the ghost is
So I'm gonna like slowly go over and try to like take Steve's hand. Is Steve right? Yeah, Steve's hand and like kind of bring him towards us.
right, just like that. Come on,
But
let's
smiling the whole
go.
time.
Yeah, that nervous laugh. Let's go, Steve. So the ghost, as you're reaching over, the ghost just comes over to Steve and just gives him a big warm hug and says, "I'm sorry. I was just confused, but go live a good life and say hi to Susan for me if you ever see her." And the bro's like, sure, bro, whatever.
I'm gonna look at him like, shut the fuck up, and then.
No, as soon as you get out of this, you're just gonna like punch him in the face.
I was gonna say as soon as we get it out, I was
Right,
gonna
like as soon as we got out of the tunnel, I was gonna whack him in the back of the head as hard as I can.
I think when he gets out, he's gonna die.
From abuse.
He's better off with the creepy ghost mom.
So you guys walk out. The ghost is kind of hanging back and looking a bit forlorn, but not
Thanks
angry in
for the
any
tea.
way. Oh, anytime. You should come visit me sometime. It gets a little lonely.
We'll make plans.
No intention to come back ever.
She doesn't have to know that.
I mean, I'm just kind.
I'm
just kind of
totally
like.
coming back.
I'm kind of like half demon.
And like, I'll call you.
I'll give you a call, girl. What's up?
Yeah.
Get some of that ghost booty.
Don't
What?
bite me.
So you guys exit and the cave, and you go back through the portal, and it's the same kind of blow dryer but super cold kind of feeling across your skin. Tamaki has Steve by the hand and leads him back through, and you get out in the cave, and that feeling that you had before of like it's still there, but it's not a feeling of intense. It's less intense, more kind of just a notice, like yeah, there's something here, but it's not threatening in any way.
I'm totally coming back here, guys, for tea. I'm just saying.
Hey, you never
I
know.
literally just max Steve in the back of the head as hard as I possibly can.
Okay, so we're not going to roll for kick ass on that. He deserves it for so many reasons.
Holy strength, shove him into oblivion.
And I mean, are we looking like hard enough to just like, are you wanting him unconscious or
No.
just a good thumping? I was
Yes.
just like,
Yeah.
oh, bro, what
Okay.
was that for?
Hey,
Oh
no,
my god.
I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna take off the hat, take a picture, and post it on Facebook.
With his braided hair.
Yep.
And of course you can find him because you know that fucking Bubba Brown is his friend, so you can always find him.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's getting tagged in it.
It's like, God, bro, you guys suck. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he just like storms away off into nothing. Pulls out his cell phone,
Oh,
which
can I try
is
and pickpocket him
surprisingly
while he's
still
walking away?
charged. I
Clearly
mean,
not
Right.
an Apple phone. Yeah.
That is
yeah,
very weird.
yeah. And he's like on the phone, and he's like, Bubba, you're not gonna believe what happened, bro. You just gotta hear as he walks away, just this conversation about what was going on with lots of
Wait.
bros
Before he
interspersed.
walks away, I do want to try to pickpocket him.
Okay, let me see how that works because I don't know off the top of my head.
It says
Oddly
you
enough.
steal something small, you roll plus charm,
Uh-huh.
10 or more, they don't notice.
Okay,
7
so
to 9, you either
It's like,
don't
oh
grab
man,
it
you
or
got
you
a
grab
5-pack
something
of condoms.
wrong.
or you grab the wrong thing or they remember you later. Of course, on a fail, it just
Yeah.
completely fails. So yeah, go ahead, you can roll on that. So as he's pulling out his phone to make this phone call to Bubba, you just kind of reach into his pocket.
Yeah. Oh shit, I got a 10.
10, nice.
Wait, no, I got an 11. Just kidding.
Got a nice. So
I don't
what
know
I
how
mean,
to
what
add.
what are you trying to take? Anything in particular?
Not really. I'm probably gonna steal like his wallet.
Steal his wallet. All right, so you totally take his
Mhm.
wallet. He doesn't notice anything, and he just keeps walking away, talking, bro this, bro that, off into the distance. And yeah, now you've got his wallet with his license and everything, and his
I
money.
just
And his
look
Starbucks
As
at
soon
gift
as he's out of
card.
Tommy
earshot,
Key
I want to be like, look what I got.
disapprovingly.
I'm gonna shrug.
I mean, I just want like a high five. Just
Yeah, fuck that guy.
yeah. It's like, what's in there? Oh, Starbucks gift card, oversized condom.
Oh god.
Okay, children, let's go to the car.
Is there any money in there?
Yeah, but I mean, you're backed by a
Oh.
shadowy worldwide organization. You don't really need the money. I feel like at this point you're just stealing stuff because you're a klepto.
Yes, me too.
I
feel like, regardless, it's like, all right, $5, yeah.
yeah, pretty much. McDonald's on me.
So just like
It's
we have unlimited funding.
Covered those milkshakes that we had to get to kill time so we could save his ass.
Oh wait, he had $5. Know what time? Know what time it is?
Birthday cake.
Okay, so you guys walk back up
Should
to
we
the
have
car.
victory pie?
Drive back. Oh, do you guys want to stop for victory pie on the way?
No, because I'm driving. We're going back home. Back to the bookworm.
Mom's gonna
Okay.
pull the car over.
Okay,
No,
so
fine.
so you guys walk back up, get in the car, and start driving back, and the camera just kind of it's following
Ow.
the vehicle in the dark, and you guys are obviously in there having conversations and stuff. Those two are being ridiculous. You're looking just annoyed, like I will turn this fucking car around and take you back to the ghost if you don't shut up. And the
Look,
camera
that's
kind of
pissed.
drifts off and up, and you can see the lights from downtown Louisville in the distance, and just kind of fades and goes to credits. So, congratulations! That's episode 1 of Monster of the Week for us
Yay.
of the Spooky Chronicles. So now we have to do our debriefing. So, Jessica, did you remember to mark your experience for your failed roll?
I did.
Awesome. So, you do have to go at the end of the session and figure out what we did today. So, this is how you figure up your experience points. Did we conclude the current mystery? Were we able to successfully investigate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did we save someone from certain death or worse?
Yes.
No.
Well, no.
Well,
He
I mean,
wasn't in any danger.
but from his perspective, that could have been worse.
So yes.
I mean, we were going to be putting a total bro in a dress.
That's
and
fair. So
yeah.
yes, we did.
Did we learn something new and important about the world itself? Do you think?
potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think
I
learning
made a new
about
friend who gives me free tea.
exactly. So I
We
think
know 100% that this is not D&D and that you don't have to fight everything.
yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely an important lesson. You don't have to
That's a
fight
good
everything.
point.
Combat is not always the answer, and you kind of know a little bit more about this little part of the world, not necessarily the entire world. So that's good. And did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters? Not so much, I think. I don't think we really explored anything too far in that direction right now. So if you get one or two yes answers, mark 1. If you get 3 or 4, mark 2. So that's definitely going to be 3. So go ahead and mark off 2 experience on your sheet on top of what you may have already marked.
I was totally ready to just give that ghost the boomstick and had to go be all logical.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's a good thing that you didn't. So there we go. That concludes episode 1 of Monster of the Week. This, just wondering what we're going to call it, the Spooky Chronicles. I'm not sure yet. We'll come up with something that's amazing and great, I'm sure. So we'll go ahead and do our fake outro because this is going to go up eventually and say thanks everybody for hanging out. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, whatever the hell the button says to do if you want to come back. We're going to be here as often as we can to play. We may do some live stuff. Definitely keep an eye out for that. And see you guys next time. You guys can say bye too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.